on Monday. Yeah.
Well, happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you. All right, kids, welcome back to another episode of Capes and Lunatics. Me, Phil, Lilith is here, and the only reason
she actually agreed to come back.
I know she's one of those nice people who comes back more than once. Yes, Celeste, returning guest Celeste Bronfman. Hello, thank you.
Ooh, thank you for having me again.
And yes, she is back to promote because again, when we said this last time she was on here, Jackpot and Black Cat #1 is out now.
Yeah, so, it's wild.
Most important message: go pick it up.
I know. I can't believe it's out. I don't even have a physical copy yet.
That is a trend. We podcast with DG Chichester, who just got done doing Black Armor, and I always offer, I'll send you a copy. I always have extras.
No, it's my own fault. I was at this. I did a signing, and I had to rush
to keep one for yourself.
Yeah, they were like, all of these are already spoken for. No, I forgot. So I'm going to have to go back. This was not the exciting part of the conversation.
No, it is actually. We love peeks behind the curtain and stuff. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you
Anything
go.
you can spill without getting in trouble, we love it.
Lots of stories. I am very chaotic, so there'll be a lot of stories to tell.
That needs to be one of your conditions for signing. Be like, I want one of each cover, please, because I mean, this did have all the
ton of great variants.
Yeah.
Oh man, I know, they're so beautiful. I really want. There was one foil cover that was so gorgeous. It's the Adam Hughes cover, but man, I really.
Oh yeah.
I'm afraid if I go back, they'll be sold out, which is okay. I mean, it's for the best. I'll be happy either way. But
so I can't remember if we discussed this last time, but was this was already in? I mean, oh yeah, I think it was. This was already announced in the works when Jackpot #1 came out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was all in the works. It was nerve-wracking because none of it was out yet. I think I only had 2 short stories that I had done in the Amazing Spider-Man Annual and 31. So I was nervous to see the reception. And I think Jackpot 1 had just come out because you had already read it, which was wild. So thank you for reading it so quickly. But
oh, no, damn, yeah, I was reading that. So did they get the first whoever at Marvel did the editor, whoever get the first look at Jackpot and be like, okay, we have to do a mini series then after this? Or I mean, was it just already pre-loaded where it's just like, yeah, you're gonna do a one shot, then you're gonna do a mini series?
I mean, that would be a question. Nick Lowe is my editor. Nick and Caden, they are both wonderful. And Nick, I think it was before I did my rewrite of Jackpot 1, came to me with the idea of doing a series. And I think that's when I started pitching some ideas about what it could be. But at that point, they had already, before Jackpot came out and before I had even done this rewrite and art started coming in, they had decided that they wanted to do a mini series, which was really cool. So I was very honored and came up with some pitches. And this is the one that we agreed sounded the most interesting for where Jackpot was at and where Black Cat is at too. So yeah, no, that's how it all came together. I'm sure there's more behind the scenes that I don't know, but
I feel like Phil and I manifested this. Honestly, we're huge fans of Black Cat, and obviously we love Mary Jane. Now, everybody's probably like a little apprehensive about her getting powers, but it's like a nice nod, but also like a twist moving forward about like, hey, we actually do care about Mary Jane. We want to give her something interesting to do, so it was really great to see. And these two dynamics, like when they were stuck in that dimension together, I was like, oh, I like this dynamic. I hope I see more. And I just feel like, yes, they get it finally.
I love that Dark Web miniseries. It was so well done. I mean, like, Jed MacKay is a great writer and he knows Black Cat inside and out. They're so fun together. And I think, obviously that miniseries, Black Cat's kind of hiding that she's with Peter, and it's this really beautiful friendship that forms out of like mutual understanding and trust between the two of them that I think is so beautiful. And now I think this is the second step in their friendship. Basically, we see them quite a while later, and this is seeing kind of a glimpse of what has taken place without really explaining, but we see that they're closer, and we see that I think Felicia's still a bit guarded, but they've like come to trust one another in ways that I don't think Black Cat has trusted many people before, but that will still come into play later in the series.
Yeah, this is interesting because it's like both Mary Jane and Felicia are in a relationship in this issue, but neither of them are with Peter. So again, we kind of get to see them both without Peter at the same time.
Yeah, and obviously I love Peter. I think like he is busy doing his own thing right now, and obviously Jackpot is in his issues as well. But I kind of love the idea of just taking Felicia and MJ and showing who they are without Peter right now. Not that he's not in their lives, and obviously he, you know, influences a lot of what they do. But this is kind of a story where they get to stand on their own a bit more. And so that's exciting.
Well, I'm just thinking here because I was going to say to you, okay, don't tell Zeb, but at first I was going to say I think you write a better Paul than even Zeb writes a Paul, but I think it might be just because because in the Spider-Man book it's like people are just like comparing Peter and Paul, but here there's no Peter, so there's
the baggage is like
Yeah.
not really there.
Yeah, I think it's hard to compare them. I mean, Peter's so important to MJ, and Paul, I think what I like about Paul in this is that he's just there to support MJ. I like that he kind of takes a back seat, and I like that he lets her stand on her own, which obviously Peter does as well. But yeah, it's nice to like have someone who's there to support her. I know people are divided about Paul, but yeah, I think the great news is that like this isn't really a story about him. It's about MJ and Black Cat and like putting them front and center.
Well, it's anytime you interrupt, the official ship. It's like, come on, how long is this gonna last? We know this isn't serious. This is just so that's the thing. It's especially in this day and age where like ships are the thing.
I was a huge shipper when I was young, so I'm like, I get it. I fought very hard for my ships online. But yeah, I think it's obviously like I get that it's difficult to not see them together, but I also think this is like a great relationship for MJ right now in that it lets her be like a superhero and just have him in the backseat.
So she can kind of see what it's like when she was at home waiting on Peter. Like I love how because let's be real, we know eventually they will get back together. I think this will inform the relationship when they get back together. Like finally she can like see. It's like when Lois like every like 150 episodes gets Superman's powers. It's like, oh yeah, you got to walk a mile in their shoes to understand them. And
yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's complicated. Like relationships are complicated. Everything's complicated. Life is complicated. We need certain people at certain points in our lives. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't say, but
but are you having fun with it at least? Like getting to change up the dynamic of at least Mary Jane's not sitting at home looking out the window.
Yeah, that's the best part. I mean, I've always seen her as a hero, and I'm sure everyone has. She's been like on the front lines with Peter, even though she didn't have superpowers. She's like always been a hero, and that was really important for me when I started writing Jackpot. I really wanted to show that like she kind of comes with she knows what it's like to risk her life for others. She really stands on her own so many times. We've seen it in many issues of Spider-Man, and so now it's really exciting to see like her front and center, her jumping in to kind of like headline the story and protect Felicia in this issue without giving away too many spoilers. But yeah, it's exciting to see her front and center. I think she's always been a huge, like a really important character to many people. And I love highlighting her in that way. I hope other people do too.
Well, Twitter is a cesspool, but I have my filters on, and I haven't seen anything negative about it. A lot of people are really enjoying it, so.
I hope so. I have been so busy. I haven't really seen many comments.
Yeah, I haven't seen any negative feedback, so I mean, I think.
And that's huge, especially with like 2 female-led like comic book. Like, I was shocked, and I was like, people are responding well to this. I like that. That bodes well.
Yeah, I met a lot of like really wonderful people at the comic book shop who came in and were talking to me, and I think that's to me more important than reading online comments, which I don't really do much of. But I really loved meeting everyone in person and hearing their takes on the characters and hearing what they love about the characters. And I think that's my favorite way to interact with people.
Yeah.
And I think this, as much as I love Jackpot 1, I think this series is going to go even bigger and better because, again, that was in the middle of gang war. So it's kind of like, okay, you have to fit between this, this issue A and issue C. So you have to take place in a certain point in a timeline. Here, you can pretty much do what
we're
you want.
blowing the barn doors open and we
Yeah.
get to play in the world a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. I think there's more room to explore their relationships, and it was fun and also daunting to come up with a new setting that is that fits and a new plot that fits for the story I wanted to tell with MJ and Felicia. So it's been really exciting, and I'm excited that it's out. It's kind of wild because for so long it was just this little project this project that was just like going back and forth in our emails. So it's exciting to see it in print.
Was there any special or fun research that you did or like little things you wanted to look up and you incorporated into the story?
I did. I looked up like a lot of blackmail technology. Weirdly, I hope they don't check my computer.
That search history is toast.
There you go. I know I'm in trouble, but I tried to make it as simple as possible in the story, but I spent a lot of time researching, what is possible with technology. I think there is
Did it scare you?
Sorry?
Did it scare you what you found? Because
terrifying. Don't do it. I don't suggest you do it. It kind of feels like this setup is a little Black Mirror-y, but you wouldn't believe what's out there. So I did some research into that. I had fun coming up with a tech company. I think that's in the first issue. And it was fun playing around with what is possible and what in many ways that technology can help us. How can it harm us in certain ways too?
Yeah, because again, I like there's certain supervillains in this like Chance, but too it's all kind of real worldish because again, there are people who hide behind their internet persona and stuff. So
yeah,
parts of it on a smaller scale. I mean, it's very real world. So
yeah, and I think when I was trying to come up with ideas with Nick and Caden, I think the idea of keeping it more grounded in New York, that was really important. So just having a twist on, a villain story in New York, that kept it grounded in this world and in, the characters we already know and love. It was fun.
But yeah, like I said, I love Chance, very egotistical, very arrogant.
Petty,
Yes, very petty. Yes. I was going to say, I'm sure you're
That's
not.
a compliment.
I'm sure you're not going to spoil anything. I was going to say, are there any other well-known villains we're going to see upcoming?
There are a few you'll recognize. I can't say who exactly. That would be spoilers. But yeah, that's part of the fun. I think I took it as an excuse. I was like, oh, I have to write Chance's Flying Casino. Let me look up every issue with Chance. And then it sends me down a spiral, which is the best way to procrastinate, is just reading comics.
That's the fun research here. Like, okay, what villains are free? What can I use? Who's good?
Yeah, and it felt a little on the nose to have Jackpot in the casino. But,
yeah.
But,
no pun intended, or maybe it was.
Maybe. I think it I liked the idea of having it be in a casino, and then someone else pointed out how obvious that was. I was like, well, not as obvious to me, but I'm sure a bunch of readers are more intelligent than I and spotted it right away. But it was very tempting to have some of those really on the nose lines, but I held back, and I think it was for the better. I don't think anyone.
Hopefully, you save some for a little later down the road, though.
Maybe
just a sprinkle.
Maybe. I think there are a lot of fun opportunities. I hope people don't get tired of all the references, but it is very tempting and fun. A lot of people came to the signing and asked me if I could draw something that was related to Jackpot. on their issues, and I am not an artist. And
Here,
they're
what do you want from me?
it was very embarrassing because like there's such beautiful art on the cover, and I'm like, you don't want me to ruin this. And I tried drawing, I think like a gauntlet. It was really bad. Like this poor woman. I'm so sorry. I messed up your cover. You should
It's a one of a kind. Don't even worry about it.
Oh yeah, watch it. So now I think it'll be very valuable.
There you
Oh,
go.
I do have a question about the artist. Were you paired with Emilio, or did you request?
I was paired with Emilio, and it was really cool because he had done a bunch of Black Cat in issue 31 of Amazing Spider-Man, and I think like it was just he like had nailed Felicia's expressions. He was just really great at drawing her, so it was really seamless for him, which was exciting because it kind of like got us off the ground right away. But yeah, I was paired with Emilio, and then like we just worked really well together. He's just a really fantastic artist, and it's exciting seeing like all of his layouts come in and all his like drawings and inks. It's been really great. I
Are
mean,
there any things that that he interpreted your words and your works into that surprised you in like a really good way, like maybe a splash page you weren't expecting, or like a construction of like the kinetic flow of some panels?
yeah, I think probably the scene where it's a little bit of a spoiler, but we see that Felicia is with someone new. She's in a new relationship. And I thought like that stuff was so beautifully done. He kind of nailed the chemistry, which is really hard to do. You basically have to like show that these people love each other in like one page. And you can only do so much of that in dialogue. But I think he did such a great job at, showing like how their movements with one another, how comfortable they are with one another. And I liked seeing how Jackpot is positioned outside the window. She's a bit of a lurker, but all of that, like geographically, I had set up in a way that I was like, I hope this makes sense. And I'm not sure it did, but he made it make sense. So a lot of that is him.
Very cool.
So that was going to be my next question about that relationship. So are we going to get any flashbacks or anything to see, how this romance started with Felicia?
Possibly. We'll learn a little more. It's a 4-issue series, unfortunately, so there's not as much time to get too much backstory. But we'll learn more about the relationship, and we'll see more of Amelia for sure. And yeah, I think it's hard to do this without spoilers, but their relationship is very pivotal to the story.
I guess we should say, kids, if we buy enough of these, they'll probably spin off an ongoing of this. So
Yes, please. I would love to write more of them. And
so you'd be down for a monthly,
I mean, I would be down for a monthly, but honestly, I just want it to exist, whether I'm writing it or not. I loved those characters when Jed was writing them together. So I think they have such a unique dynamic and play off of one another very well. And I think like you don't see as many female superhero team ups.
Yes.
So
it's kind of be Domino and Diamondback in the best way, a little bit.
Yes. I mean, there are some really great ones. I don't want to discount what's like all the other amazing titles out there, but yeah, I think those are the stories I wanted to read when I was growing up, and so it's really exciting to like be writing them and hope that someone like me out there is reading it and excited to see it.
Would you, if you did get your choice, would you rather do a monthly of this, or would you rather get 2 monthlies and give each of them their own monthly, both written by you?
Both written by me. So you mean, would I rather write 2 a month or 1 a month?
Yeah. Would you rather write them both in one book, or would you rather get 2 books?
Oh man. I mean, I would like to write as much as they'll let me. So I love writing. It's like a dream job. So I would never say no. But yeah, I love writing them together. There are like a bunch of other Marvel characters I love who I would love to like one day write for. So we'll see what happens. But I am having the most fun with Felicia and MJ. They are like two of the best characters, so I got really lucky.
I think we talked it a little last time, but who manifested? Who else would you like to write for?
Yeah. Here, let's just like if I keep saying it enough, maybe I'll get annoying enough that they just let. No, I really love Valkyrie has been a longtime favorite of mine, and I love Captain Marvel quite a lot. I mean, Alyssa Wong is killing it right now. They are writing a great Captain Marvel, so I wouldn't want to take any of that away. But yeah, I love them so much. That would be really cool to like do a
I'm
Carol.
sensing a theme.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I love those characters so much. And I love Spider-Man. Honestly, that has been the dream to like get to have Spider-Man be in some of these stories. Feels like a pinch me moment.
And I'm sure you wouldn't spoil if Spider-Man shows up in this at any point, huh?
I would never.
Well,
I do feel like it's I've really had to not use social media that much or like talk to people much just out of fear of ever saying anything. Um, but honestly, it's fun because I like not knowing as much because then I get to be spoiled for other people's stories. So I have a lot of friends who are comic book writers, but I try not to ask them too much because I'd like to preserve some of the secrets so that I'm
Aww.
surprised. Or it's because I'm worried about spoiling. I don't know, whichever one sounds nicer.
well, again, it's even like people not even behind the scenes, but like some, I mean, they solicit stuff like 2 months ahead, and sometimes like I'll go on social media and I'll see something, it'll be like 9 a.m. of like new comic book day, and there's already spoilers on there. I'm like, how were you?
They were standing at the window, open, open, open.
I know. That's true. I've been spoiled. My friend writes the Miles Morales. He's writing the Miles Morales run right now.
Oh,
And
Cody, yeah.
yeah, Cody Ziegler, and I get spoiled from about his issues all the time. So I just stay off social media. I mean, I'm not very good at it anyways. So it's not very hard.
That's a good thing, trust me.
Sometimes I wish I was better. My friend tried to help me at one point, and she was like, "No, she's a lost cause, unfortunately." So yes, I just go to the comic book shop. I try to before any spoilers can come my way, but it's hard. It's hard to avoid them.
So, what was the timeline for this particular project? Like, how long has this been gestating?
Ooh, that's a good question. This one, I think we started working on it in November. So that's when I think I pitched and we came up with ideas, and then I wrote an outline. And it just took a second because it was also, Christmas took some time.
That's
So
a pretty quick turnaround, yeah.
It's very quick. I was about to say that it took a while, but you're right. It's really quick. I don't know how, it's just, I'm used to working in the TV and film space. And
so that'll help you. Yeah, that's quick turnaround. Well, TV
well,
specifically.
it can be, but sometimes it's like it can be a very slow process. It feels almost like comics is faster sometimes from my perspective. But just maybe because of some of the shows I've worked on, it's like usually in streaming, it takes a while. And then sometimes with projects, especially like animation, it takes 3 or 4 years. And so compared to that, like it's shocking to see how quickly they get a comic together and how many they produce. Even a lot of like Boom and Image, they put out so many comics a year. It's incredible. I have a lot of respect for everyone who works at
And
comics.
you kind of got thrown right into it, with the crossovers and like that best time to just throw your feet in. You just see the big picture and yeah.
Yeah.
Was that kind of daunting? Like, oh man, this is a lot going on to keep track of and things like that.
it was daunting. Having my first full issue be in gang war was a bit overwhelming. But I was really lucky, I think, to have people help me. So I had a few
Did you
other
guys have
friends.
like Zoom meetings and like map out and plot? I know because for the who did we speak with and they were kind of talking about that. What crossover event was that, Phil? I can't remember now.
Which one were we talking about? I don't I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I forget. It was like one of the bigger ones from like last year, and they were talking about how they had to like have a meeting, and the person set it all out, and they were like, "Okay, this is where this fits, and do your best, keep up."
Yeah, I know some of the writers did for sure, and they planned everything out. Because I was only writing one issue, I wasn't in that initial meeting, but I had a text chain with. I think I would text up a lot of questions and ask him what was going on with Spider-Man and try to figure out where, even in terms of location, this could take place. And it was difficult because a lot of the scripts were in flux at that point too. And you're waiting on a lot of other people to verify where everyone is, which characters you can use. So sometimes there would be a few switch ups because we couldn't use a villain or I couldn't use certain characters. So there was some rewriting around that. But it was, I think, mostly stressful for the editors trying to figure out what was going on. I'm sure they had maps and they had charts of everything. I was just hearing information about, oh, you can't, trap this villain because they're going to be in another issue. So, they have to get away at the end, or you can have this character and this character. I think the character I fought to have, and it wasn't hard because I think everyone wanted to see it, but I wanted Spider-Man to be in the issue. I thought it would be nice to have her crossover with Spider-Man, especially since he was fighting in the same area. I thought it would be nice to just have like a small moment. Obviously, not have him overtake the scene, but just have them fight alongside each other, which I think, as a fan, that is what I wanted to see.
Nice.
Is that
Yeah,
one
I
of the
think once that's over, it's all downhill from there, and it's a little easier. Do you think?
Yeah, I feel like that was a huge
Trial by fire.
It was trial by fire. Yeah. I'm so glad I had the experience, and I hope I get to be involved in another crossover. But it definitely was a trial by fire. And I think it has been nice just being able to have like a mini series that doesn't really tie into anything else. I've had to keep track of a few other things, but for the most part, it's write your story and then, know that it will be a little more contained. You won't have to worry about characters, having a gang war outside of the building or but that was a great crossover. So I'm really lucky and honored to have been involved in a very, very small way.
But is it always like a challenge just because this is set in the Spider-Man corner of the Marvel universe? So it's like they're always more protective of the flagship character. And it's like, again, if you want to pull in a certain villain, it's like, well, no, this is getting, he's going to be an amazing Spider-Man this month, or,
or Spider Boy, or
or
there's a
Spider-Man.
couple of other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Spider Bugs actually right now.
Oh,
So
There are. No, it is that for sure. And I leave it to the editors because they decide where the characters are most needed. Because if I'm wanting to use a character who has a much bigger role to play in another series, it makes more sense for them to be in the other series. So
but at
they're
least
the
you have
ones.
a direct line. You're like right inside the Spider people's editors' purview. Whereas like maybe somebody from the outside, it's probably a little tougher sometimes too.
Yeah, no, I'm very lucky. Everyone communicates quite a bit. And so it's easy to kind of figure out, but I unfortunately like to get ahead when I work. So sometimes I don't wait for a response. And then I'm like, oh, well, it's my own fault that I wrote myself into this hole. And now I have to
just file this away in the fanfic.
Yes, exactly. No one knows my username, but it's out there.
oh my.
Not to try to find it.
Challenge accepted.
I have a friend who tried to like hunt down all of our old fanfic usernames at one point, and I was very concerned. I wasn't writing anything too exciting, but I was like, I don't want people to know my Doctor Who thoughts.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's private.
Yeah, that's personal. Yeah.
I think the last time you and I talked, I think you said you do keep a list of like all the powers MJ has used, because again, since it is like a rotating thing of powers, and like my favorite moment in this, I was like, oh, she went there with the hair. I was
yes,
like, she did the Medusa hair. She did it.
I'm glad you like that one.
Yes,
it is really fun, and also, as we talked about, challenging sometimes, because I want to make sure they're interesting and new.
and you don't want to repeat. Yeah,
You don't want to repeat, but it can be sometimes hard because you don't want it to be too complicated that you can't explain what it is in one panel. So I think about that too, because there are some powers that I feel like could be cool, but would just take too long to explain and take you out of the story in a way. And so it's all about finding that balance, is what I've found.
Don't
But
be afraid to bring back the yellow box. I promise we'll love it. We'll go nuts for it.
all right, there you go. Heard it here first. Yeah, I love coming up with the powers. It's really fun, and I think it's even more fun because I get to see the artists bring it to life. There's a power in the next issue that I really like. I think I'm allowed to say that, but everyone you'll have to let me know what you think when you read it. But that one I think was the one I had written down a long time ago and was just waiting for the right moment to use. I'm excited.
I told you I threw out the offer. I mean, we can talk these as each issue comes out. We're gonna push this. We're going for an ongoing. Okay, so
thank you. Yeah, it's an ongoing. If I'm available, I'd love to come. Listen, I'm always down to talk comics, as I told
If
you
you have a
last
PO
time.
box, just let me know. I'll send you the copy so you always have a copy.
Thank you. That is very kind. You keep your copies. I just need to. I am in walking distance to a comic book shop, so there is truly no excuse.
That is so cool.
It is. It is. I was telling someone, I think a few days ago, that I moved to where I live because there's a comic book shop nearby. So it's not.
You're the coolest person on the planet to admit it. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Thank you. Yes. So I am really lucky to be able to walk to a comic book shop, and it's also.
But if they're sold out, like me and I basically put my comic book guys' kids through college and his band on tour. So
wow.
yeah, I support my local comic book.
She goes multiple times a week. She goes 2-3 times a week.
Oh my god.
Well, as soon as DC goes back to the normal schedule, it'll probably just be 2 times a week. But yeah, I go 3 times a week. So
that's aspirational. Oh yeah. I have like this dream of going more often. And I have a friend who, she's an editor at DC, and she lives pretty close to me. And we talk about going to the comic book shop.
You guys should have like a board game night at your local comic book shop or something. Yeah, I always like, if you guys have time, you should just hang out there. Build community. It's the best place to build community, honestly.
It is. I have actually met a bunch of friends at the comic book shop, so I agree.
Oh, there's a night at a comic shop. Celeste and friends do a live read of the new Jackpot and Black Cat issue.
A live read?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm the one to act out those lines, but if you want to come and if you want to play a character.
Oh, we got the perfect person. Get Ray Pod on the phone.
Oh, yeah. But now I was gonna say, if you did do that, do you think you were more of a Mary Jane or are you Felicia?
Ooh, I don't know. I think both of them are cooler than I.
She's like, I'm Paul.
You know.
She's like, who has the least amount of lines? That's all.
Exactly.
Amount of lines. Yeah, I don't know. They're both. I mean, do you guys have one who you are more like?
I think I'm definitely more of a Felicia. Although I love Mary Jane more, I can admit to myself I'm more of a Felicia.
Yeah, I think I'm more of a Felicia. I think Felicia is, the cool I aspire to be. I don't know.
I was gonna say Mary Jane, so yeah, that's why the two of us work so well together.
Yeah.
Aww, that's really beautiful. I love that. I think I do less thieving than Felicia. Just
I hope so.
a little less, not too, but yeah, a lot less.
Okay, so you live within walking distance of a comic shop. The only thing that's left is to own a comic shop now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to get that ongoing going so she can get that seed money, kids.
Yeah, come on.
That would be so cool. Yeah, I used to go to a local comic book shop. I grew up in Montreal in Canada, and I used to walk to one every other day.
That's why I like you so much.
Oh,
For those friendly Canadians we love, yes.
Yeah, I miss it there, but I used to go to like a local comic book shop almost every day after we had this thing called Sage-Up, which is kind of like college. And I used to walk to a comic book shop, and the owner was so wonderful. She was like this lovely older woman, and I don't remember her name right now, but it was just exciting because for most of my life, I go to comic book shops and it would be mostly adult men there. And she just loved comics her whole life, and that was her dream, was to open that comic book shop. And it was really beautiful. And I hope she's doing well. It is cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, see, you'd make sure you get all your own comics if you had your own comic shop.
That's true. I mean, I could do it now. I'm just it's a me thing. I'm the problem. But I think you've inspired me after this. I might just go over there and get a comic. So maybe I'll run into some people.
So let's just tell the comic industry, no, it's not you, it's me.
We love a self-aware queen. We do.
Thank you. I'm just trying to be honest here. But these are the ways in which I'm not like Felicia, is what I'm saying. I feel like she would get it done, you know? We all should aspire to be a little more like Felicia. But yeah.
So, are all 4 issues wrapped and just basically waiting to be released, or are there some like touch-ups or like last minute editorial? Is it still an editorial, the last one, or?
Yeah, I am currently working on the last issue. Just doing some adjustments on that one. And every time, so basically, I'm sure you've heard the process of how this is done before, so I don't want to bore you with it. But whenever art comes in, we do kind of a lettering pass. And so there are more opportunities to go through once again and adjust things based on art, or see how things are done. Maybe it inspires new lines based on what the artist has done. So it's very much like a collaboration, which means that the process goes on for, quite a while. I mean, not quite a while. It doesn't take too long for comics to come out, but we will be working on it until about a month before it comes out. So I think the second issue is mostly wrapped. I think it is wrapped. And I think, we're just waiting. There'll just be like a few revisions on the third issue when that comes to our inboxes. So it's exciting. I kind of love the process because it's ever evolving and it's not set in stone. So you have a bunch of opportunities to look back, especially if you're writing the 4th issue and you realize you have to seed something in earlier. There's still a chance to do that, which happens sometimes. So it's a cool, ever evolving process. So it's not completely done, but I think that's the joy of it.
And as a giant comic nerd, I have to ask, how great is that to see your name on the cover of a comic?
It's unreal. Like, I think I'm still in shock that it's happening because being and writing such iconic characters, it's just truly, that was a real moment where I could, like, when I opened, I had this moment, I wrote a little story in Women of Marvel and the anthology, and I opened it and Gail Simone was also one of the writers. And that was an incredible experience. To see my name beside such a legend, and everyone who worked on that series. I mean, that anthology were huge legends, like Sarah Brunstad. I just love her. And I think it's always a pinch me moment, but definitely to open it up and see your name and to be the lead writer of a Marvel comic is something I don't think I'll ever get used to. And I hope I don't, because it is wild and a dream come true. So it was very cool.
All right, I'm trying not to trick you. I was going to say anything you can tease for issue 2 without giving us spoiler. Well, I mean, if you want to give us spoilers, but I know you don't want to.
What can I tease for issue 2? We will see some more, action with Felicia and MJ. I'm trying not to give too much away. But we will see, I think I've talked about how their friendship is really front and center in this issue. And I'm really excited to be exploring their dynamic. And I think there are some emotional moments that I'm really looking forward to, in addition to all the action. But MJ, as I said, has a cool power in the second issue, according to me. So, I'm a biased source, but I am really excited. There's a fun action sequence in the second that I'm looking forward to people seeing.
So
Yeah.
were you going for more like, since it's kind of more grounded, were you going for like more of like an espionage style, or like how would you describe like that action in your head that you were like kind of modeling it after?
Yeah, that's a good question. Definitely a little more espionage. I think I wanted to incorporate tech a little more without making it without taking it too far away, and making it too much about the intricacies of technology. But yeah, for sure, I wanted to keep it very grounded. There is obviously the flying casino, but I think after that, they mostly stay in familiar locations around New York. I wanted to see the streets of New York. I wanted to see, and then get a few flavors of some more stylistic locations too. So hopefully there will be a few pops of some locations, but all of it is in the streets of New York.
Is there an iconic landmark that you wanted to like incorporate but didn't get to or hope to?
There wasn't in this series, but I love New York, and so there are always spots I would love to put in. I think it would be fun, and in the future, it's not in these 4, but I think it would be fun to do something in Central Park. I've always thought it was very wild that they have a zoo in Central Park.
Yep.
So I mean, in the best ways. And they're just like a bunch of different environments in this one massive, beautiful park. So I think it would be fun to do a story there one day. But yeah, we'll have to see. They've done a lot already around the Statue of Liberty. So I feel like
It's a classic. You almost have to.
yeah, you've got to do it. It's the first landmark and the last. So it's exciting. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have to take a trip to New York to scout out locations. It will be a burden, but it's my cross to bear.
All right, I have a question. I was thinking of this. I've seen a few writers say this, but when you're writing, do you listen to music? And I guess what I'm asking is there a soundtrack, at least in your head, to go along with this story?
I do listen to soundtracks. I know Cody Ziegler has like actual playlists that he puts up when he's, that go along with the characters. I find sometimes I have trouble concentrating when I have songs with lyrics. So I'll listen to movie soundtracks quite a bit while I'm writing. I didn't have like a specific one for this, but recently I've been listening to the Dune 2 soundtrack just because it's so gorgeous. I don't know if it has anything to do with this story, but it's very dramatic and it puts me kind of in that space, because obviously I am safe here in my apartment writing, and not fighting on the streets of New York City like the two of them. So it gives it that gravitas.
So do you go for something different music-wise every time, or do you have like your favorites you like to listen to over and over while you're writing?
I do have favorites. I think I listen to I listen to some very bizarre ones. So I don't know if it has anything to do, but I I love the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack.
Oh, very bombastic. Okay.
Very bombastic. I know. It's sometimes when I'm waking up in the morning. Um,
That'll get you going.
I'll get you going. I also really love, these are very specific ones. I think it's because I played them in my high school band and they became favorites, but I love the first Transformers soundtrack too.
Oh, wow.
Nothing
Specific
wrong
one.
with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I know. I mean, I we played it in my high school band. I'm telling you, I think it just influenced me more than but I listened to Doctor Who, the Doctor Who soundtrack too. I think that one is really beautiful, and that one actually helps me quite a bit because there's a huge range. There's a lot of action kind of music, and there are also really emotional songs, and it's just Murray Gold is just an incredible composer, and so yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. This was not very helpful because I gave you a splattering of
Oh
many.
no, I just so what you're saying is there's no soundtrack
Hans
for your
Zimmer 2.
there's no
Transformers
soundtrack
1, 2,
for your
Doctor
work.
Who. That's cool.
There's just music that gets you into space. Okay.
Yes, but if anyone has any suggestions of songs they feel like, match the two characters, I'm always looking for recommendations. So I would love them. I listen to a lot of Janelle Monáe. So I don't think that really, but that is like the soundtrack that I think is in a lot of my writing, because I'm always listening to different songs in different eras, and a lot of Janelle's different albums are very different moods. And there's an album, Dirty Computer, that I really love. That's it's like a little futuristic and dystopian. So I tend to listen to that one a lot when when I'm writing stories that are a little bleaker. This is just music I like now. We're just talking.
No, again, we want to get into your process. We love behind the scenes.
And yeah, I don't have like very specific ones, but I'll be very inspired by a lot of things I watch. So a lot of different TV shows and a lot of different movies. They won't necessarily, it won't be the same idea, but it'll spark something.
I need a little Thelma and Louise. I need a cliff moment.
Yes, true. Ugh, listen, that would be a really great homage in an issue in the future.
And then it evolves into MJ having a new power. I'm just saying. That's for the ongoing. Put that feather in your cap for the ongoing.
I know. Oh, that would be really fun. Yeah, but I think I'm a very big TV watcher and movie watcher. I fall asleep to TV. I wake up to it because it just plays through the night. It's not what everyone does, but I think I'm always consuming content, so it's hard not to be inspired by a bunch of things.
And that's important for being a writer, just being inspired and wanting to actually write. Did you get any writer's block or get stumped with something while you're writing these 4 issues?
These ones can't. I mean, I always struggle with procrastination, but I think I have to just set aside time to write. Otherwise, it gets overwhelming. So I try to just tell myself, okay, you need to write 5 pages today. And then I'm much more inspired because I know that if I write 5 pages, I can then like go and get a coffee or go and get the treat I promised myself. So sometimes I just have to like set times and set goals for myself, and that helps me get over it. Because the idea of writing, and I'm sure both of you have written different things as well, it can be sometimes daunting. Maybe not, but it can sometimes be daunting, especially when, there's so much going on. We're always, it's never like you're only thinking about writing and there's nothing else going on. It's like you have a doctor's appointment later, there's just different things get in the way, and it can feel overwhelming. So I just have to like force myself to take time, and all I'm doing during these 3 hours is writing. and that helps me
Cool.
overcome the writer's block.
But
Even
so
though,
for the most part, they just kind of spoke to you. You just felt like, oh yeah, I could see them doing this. Yeah, that'll be fun.
yeah, I think if I sit down, sometimes I will just like brainstorm ideas on paper with pen and just go through, and hopefully I land on something after a big rant of different possibilities. Hopefully you land on the right one. Um,
Ah, paper to pen. No, that's what you do. No, no. Uh, Apple Pencil and iPad or.
Ooh, I don't do that, but it's I usually I mean I have like Final Draft usually open on my computer. That's what I use to write scripts usually, but to write comics. But sometimes if I'm like just having trouble coming up with the best option or the best action, especially with action sequences, I just want to make sure it's the most exciting, you know, the most exciting action I can possibly have in that moment. And it's intimidating because so many people have written incredible sequences in the Spider-Man universe. So it's intimidating to come up with different ideas. So sometimes I'll just need to like write down many different thoughts on paper as opposed to writing it on a computer. Sometimes that helps me. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this is the chaos I was telling you about.
No, no, that's just super interesting. Most people are just all about their keyboard nowadays, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it helps sometimes too if you're I think for anything, if you're writing a research paper or for any specific task that needs to be done on a computer sometimes, or like working on an Excel sheet, if you just move to a different format, if you're on your computer and you can't come up with the solution, if you move to paper and pen, sometimes it just helps to like move through different ways of
I'm
seeing
sensing
things.
you might be a kinetic learner.
Maybe.
Because I'm
I
the
don't know.
same way. I like to put pen to paper. It just helps me
Yeah,
like remember and focus a little bit better than a keyboard.
yeah. I think also when I'm like reading, when I sit down to read comics, sometimes I have to get rid of my phone so that I can really concentrate. I
Oh yeah,
just take it.
I prefer reading on paper still. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I love the Marvel Unlimited app.
Oh
So
yeah.
read a lot on those on the app, but if I can pick up a copy in the comic book shop, that's my preferred method too. The same there.
So, are you ever out somewhere and do you either does inspiration strike you maybe somewhere where you're not home and you're like, I have to write this down so I don't forget this, either on a piece of paper or just
He's
like
asking, do you have a drawer full of cocktail napkins?
yeah, or do you pull? I mean, these days you can pull out your phone and be like, okay, I need to make a note of that.
Oh, that's so. A voice note.
Yeah, I don't do voice notes, but I do have an app, and like my notes app, and I think I start a new note basically every time I have a new idea, which is not helpful. So it's a bit of a mess in there. But I definitely, as I was telling you, I think I do it from MJ's powers. Whenever I think of a new power, if I'm out, I like to like write it down right away. Or sometimes I'll be inspired by like a line in a TV show or something, and something sparks an idea. So I'll write it down. Um, yeah, so I take inspiration everywhere and I'll write it down before I forget. Sometimes I'll even wake up at 2 in the morning and come up with an idea, and it's never good. I don't think any of the ideas I've ever come up with at 2 in the morning have ever been ones that have made it anywhere. But they do happen. I'll wake
Are
up
they like
and
at least the seeds? You're like, maybe not, but let's
I
spring
mean,
yeah,
off of that
yes,
idea.
yeah.
maybe it's very funny because usually those ideas are the ones I'm most confident about when I wake up, when I'm writing them down. I'm like, oh, this this is a huge movie. Tom Cruise is going to be lining up to play this role. But it's really not. And that's why I don't have a movie with Tom Cruise.
Not
Um,
yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
I was
Mission
just watching this.
Impossible is ending pretty soon. He's gonna be looking for a new franchise. I'm just saying.
There you go. I think I was just watching Mission Impossible, so it inspired this conversation clearly. But yeah, I sometimes will. I've like once run out of a movie theater to write down an idea too because I didn't want to
How
lose it.
was
Uh,
the movie good or bad? You don't have to say the name, but was it good or bad? Because like
movie.
that forms the decision.
It was a good movie, but I think I lied to my friends and said I had just gone to the bathroom. I don't know why I felt so embarrassed. But
Like, are your RIL friends like what do they? Are any of them also like writers in any other kind of capacity, or do you just have like friends from all kinds of different backgrounds?
I have a lot of writer friends. I think I gravitated to a lot of writers. And I moved to LA not too long ago. Not too
I'm
recently.
sorry.
I love it here. No,
Okay.
that's okay. But I moved here and I didn't know anyone, not one person. And so a lot of my friends who I made initially were people who also loved TV and worked in TV and were writers. And so,
Oh,
yeah, I
see,
got
yeah.
really,
See, you're already established, so it's not that. Like when you're not established, it's pretty bad for most people.
yeah, it's hard. Well, it's hard. I think I got really lucky because I met someone. She was writing on a show I liked, and I just went up to her after a panel she was giving, and she introduced me to a lot of nerds because they had a group online. They wrote fan fiction. And a lot of those people are working in comics and in TV nowadays. And so I got lucky and met like a really good group of people because I know it's not easy. And I was very intimidated coming here.
So do you go out to places like Paley Fest and stuff when you get the chance, or like what kind of like conferences and conventions do you go to?
Yeah, I'm going to WonderCon this
Oh,
weekend.
nice.
Anyone's going to be
It's a
there.
great one.
It's a
It's
really
actually
great one.
so much more intimate. It's actually my preferred now that Comic Con has gotten so big. I grew up in San Diego, and I've been going to Comic
Oh,
Con since I was like knee high to a cricket, and I've just seen it grow, and I'm glad that it's grown. But like now, it's kind of gotten like past the point that it's useful for me. Like I love going to certain kinds of panels, and actually like intimacy is kind of gone. But WonderCon is still very much intimate, and I like WonderCon a lot.
yeah, that's what I love about it too. I think it was my first con in LA that I went to, and I met a bunch of really great people through there. Yeah, I'm just going as a fan, which I love. Um, so I get a chance to like go to all the panels and hopefully run into people I know.
Do you take
Yeah,
any of the workshops or anything like that, or?
I've taken like a few. I took a comics making course, I think even just last year. And it really taught me a lot. Because there's a lot about the process that I don't know because I'm only involved on the writing side of it. And it's really fascinating. And it has, in LA, you find some of the most incredible creatives in the world
Yep.
gravitate here. So everyone should be taking advantage if you're not going to
This
WonderCon.
past year's been brutal. Like they got the hurricane, and I was just like, "Oh, it was raining forever," and I'm just like, "They don't know how to handle rain."
No,
Hasn't rained in a generation there.
I know it was really scary when it was happening. I think there was like a hurricane at one point and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't end up lasting very long. But I remember everyone was telling me to get canned food and not knowing how long it would last. And I swear we went to the grocery store and we're um, getting a lot of toilet paper and a lot of necessities because we just weren't sure how the city would handle it. It turned out it was okay. But yeah, LA and the
LA's
rain.
been a time for the last couple of years, so weather-wise, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think the rain is good, and it can be scary and dangerous when it's happening. Because it's also scary because a lot of people don't know how to drive in the rain, including
Yep.
I. So I just stay home because it's not something people are used to, and so
And the
I think
streets aren't built for it,
and the
technically.
streets aren't built. Yeah, I'm trying not to blame too many like LA folks because
I
I
mean,
think it's
it
just
was built basically 100 and something years ago. They weren't, when the weather patterns were actually a little different. I lived in
yeah.
LA for like 3 years, and yeah,
Oh, nice. And
well,
then
yeah, at Santa Monica.
oh, that's a beautiful
Yeah,
area.
right
I
down by the
really like San.
pier. Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's a great place too because there are so many wonderful bookshops
Yep.
and cafes around there.
Right off Wilshire. I loved it. That then like going into the main city, the traffic is a night. Like I have driving anxiety, so that was just like I always say, LA was a hellscape for me. You have to drive everywhere. It's not walkable.
Yeah, it
I
is
love
not.
a walkable community, and that is just not it.
I know. I do love so many things about LA, but I do miss that. Like there is something about New York. The cities I grew up in are more similar to New York than anything, I think. Like I lived in Toronto for many years. And I think I miss the walkability and the accessibility of public transit too.
Yeah.
It's a little more
Car
difficult.
culture.
Yeah. Because I also learned to drive when I got here, and that was not the most fun for me or for my poor driving instructor.
Well, fun fact, it's one of the easiest states to get a license in, at least. Well, cities to get a license in, at least. The driving test is not as extensive as other places. I had to renew my license when I moved to Florida, and I was just like, what? You want me to do what? You want me to parallel park?
Yeah, that was not on the test, thankfully.
So yeah, just know that you had it a little easier than most people. So that if that helps.
It does help. I'm lucky to have had that. I think. Yeah. No, LA is great. And it does have a lot of really cool events too. I was just at a play like last night, and there are incredible actors because the best actors in the world live here. Some of the best actors in the world live here, and so it's a city full of creatives, which is what I love.
Very cool.
All right. Lilith, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm not gonna ask you
We're
more
just
personal
hanging out now.
questions.
No. I just, yeah.
I'm just trying to keep you from trying to pull spoilers out of her. That's all, Phil.
Oh,
We
well.
want her to come back.
Yes, definitely. Yes. If you
All
have
the
the time.
spoilers are out, we can talk.
Yes, again, like I said, if you have the time, yes, I would love to talk each time one of these comes out. We're gonna get you that ongoing. We're gonna make it happen.
Thank you.
And we'll get
Thank
you
you
that
guys for
foil
all your
cover
support.
too.
Oh man, yes. I think I'm gonna head to the comic book shop now to try to find those covers. So man. But this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and I am gonna turn this episode around quick. So you're gonna be at WonderCon this weekend, you said, right?
Yes, just as a fan though.
Oh,
Unfortunately, you can't. I mean, if you see me, come say hi though. I'll be walking around. But yes, go read Black Cat, Jackpot Black Cat. Issue 2 is coming out next month. Issue 1 just hit the stands. I hope you enjoy it. And if you see me, come tell me your thoughts. I'd love to hear.
I know you're working on other stuff. Is there anything else we can promote yet or no?
What is there? Nothing coming up that I can talk about, but I just had a little story in Women of Marvel come out, and that's a great anthology. So if you see
I told
that,
Phil to pick it up. It was great.
Yay! It was very cool to be a part of that. But yeah, and go read Jackpot. Unfortunately, I can't say anything else. I apologize, but
That's totally cool. I don't know if it's already been solicited and fixed, but maybe if you can, maybe pitch a story for the Pride issue.
I would love to. I love the team that works on Pride too. Yeah, I would love to be a part of that. If not this year, next year.
Yeah, when I read the anthology, I was like, yeah, she would totally fit in that one.
Yay! Well, thank you. I would love to be a part of it. We'll see. Yeah, there are a lot of amazing queer characters that I'm excited that they spotlight every year, and it would be cool to be a part of that.
Make it happen, Marvel.
Make it happen. I mean, they're really great at like. So I'm excited. I think they're
doing great expanding opportunities. It's really exciting to see Marvel kind of like budding and flowering into these different branches that they haven't been able to or not wanting to previously. So it's really cool.
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for everything they have coming out, and I'm gonna go pick them all up. I promise.
All right, thank you, Celeste. Thank you for again sharing your time with us. Go buy that comic shop now.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for reading Jackpot Black Cat. It means a lot.
Thank you for reading it. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll see you guys later.
All right. Thank you, man.
Bye.
See, I told you she's great.
She's Canadian. That's all you have to say.
I know. I you know what? I I still knew that, but I kind of sort of forgot it. But
I
yeah,
was like, I should have said, now you have to write Alpha Flight.
oh,
Now you and Jen have to go write Alpha.
I was gonna say she's got to pry that from Jed's cold dead hand. I don't. Oh, can you imagine if you had like, even if it was more than one writer, but just like a whole creative team that was from Canada originally writing Alpha Flight?
Bro, we gotta manifest that.
Yes.
Hey, we should bring it up on Salty and Petty. Like, you know what would be really cool?
We know you listen, Marvel. Come on.
I mean, they literally only we only literally brought DG Chichester back from the dead.
Don't say it like that.
I'm kidding.
I know, but yeah. So yeah, we need more DG
We
Chichester.
manifested that one for sure.
Marvel, we need more DG Chichester. We need more Celeste Bronfman. We need all the Canadians you have on staff writing Alpha Flight, writing and drawing Alpha Flight.
Guest starring Wolverine, of course, and Hulk. Don't forget Hulk. He's always in Canada.
Well, I was gonna say, Wolverine and Deadpool are gonna be guest starring and everything probably for the rest of the year.
True.
Because again, synergy. All right.
Corporate synergy.
Yes. So, all right. So, yes, kids, write. We'll tell Marvel you want more Jackpot and Black Cat past the 4 issues.
You want it now.
Yes. And again, send us your thoughts. And especially if you're a creator for any of these companies,
We're totally mostly harmless.
Contact us. Yeah, we can pretend to be not. Yeah, when someone else is here. Oh yeah, we're just mean to each other, not to any guests.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So yes. So anyone, email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-Capes. And you can also
really wanted our number to end in Capes.
Branding. All right, so you can find all of our episodes for all of our shows, social media, new merchandise in the stores. Yes, you see that image behind us. You can get that on a fancy T-shirt or a phone case. So buy our merch. Again, you can just rain the money on us in our Cash App link, which is our preferred method.
Make it rain.
We're going to jingle when we walk. And, of course, the Patreon, where we try to give you something different every month. The March episode was Lilith Hellfire's conspiracy theories. So
conspiracy facts.
So strap on your tinfoil hat and join us for that one. All right.
If I do another one, I will have a tinfoil hat.
Oh, please, you have to. All right. So find everything all in one place. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right, Granny Hellfire. Do you want to promote anything?
I found my phone, so you now can start. Yeah, I found my phone. So you guys can now start sending me friend requests on Facebook again, and you can start getting the puppy pictures and random miscellaneous quotes and shower thoughts from Lilith Hellfire.
You're not using that phone in the shower, are you?
I might be.
Oh, do you have one of those waterproof cases or whatever?
I do.
Oh, jeez.
I'm a Granny. I slip and fall. I don't want my phone to get messed up.
I know. I was going to say, you really can't put down the TikTok for 5 minutes? Okay.
You really can't. I have a problem.
It sounds like
I had to quit cold turkey until that phone was lost for a good month. I looked at the last time when I picked it up. I was like, oh, it was a month I lost that damn phone.
Man, you better be sharing our post then. If you're that tied to your phone, you're using it in the shower.
Well, post on TikTok.
Oh no, she's listening to all the latest Capes Lunatics and the Capes Lunatics sidekicks.
Now that's when I'm outside touching grass. The shower is for TikTok.
Oh yes, while you're training for the marathon. That's right.
Exactly.
Yes. See, kids, listen to Capes Lunatics, Capes Lunatics sidekicks. It will get you healthy enough to run a marathon. All right. Out here.
These statements have not been assessed by the Surgeon General
or the Food and Drug Administration. All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Celeste, once again for sharing her time with us. All right.
Just writing an amazing book. Go pick it up.
Yes, exactly. All right, then. For another week, we have been to your Capes.
Ampersand Lunatics.
And if you see in all the new branding, it is the ampersand.
In honor of Charlie.
That's right. That's
Puppet
right.
coming soon.
Oh yes, stay tuned. Stay tuned for our new co-host, Puppet Terminator. Yes. I just heard Ray and Justin sit up in their seats. What? All right, kids. Come back next episode, and remember, face it.
You just hit the jackpot.
Stole my line. Bye, Felicia.